an ancient burial ground of Scottish kings and queens, resting place of a saint, a symbol of Scottish patriotism and burial tomb of Scotland's most famous son. Welcome to Dunfermline Abbey. Before we start, remember to like, subscribe and leave me a little comment. Later becoming a saint, Margaret of Wessex was born in 1045. After the Battle of Hastings and the death of King Harold, her brother Edgar was elected as King of England but never crowned. The family fled north and were received in the court of King Malcolm III of Scotland here at Dunfermline, which is one of the oldest settlements in Scotland and at one time its capital. In 1070, Malcolm and Margaret married at the chapel on the site, which would eventually become Dunfermline Abbey. They invited Benedictine monks to Dunfermline to establish a priory at this chapel. By 1093, both Margaret and Malcolm had died and both were buried separately within the priory. They left behind 3 sons, all of whom became kings of Scotland. Alexander I was the eldest and added the 2 towers and the window above the nave door. Edgar I was the middle son, but the best known son became King David I, who had the priory raised to the status of an abbey in 1128. All 3 sons were also interred within the abbey. In 1250, Pope Innocent IV canonised Queen Margaret and she became Saint Margaret. Both St Margaret's remains and that of her husband, King Malcolm III, were disinterred and reburied at a shrine near the high altar, and it became a popular place of pilgrimage. Keep watching to find out more about the Abbey's connection to Sir William Wallace and King Robert the Bruce. Lady Margaret Crawford is a legendary figure connected to the Abbey. Oral tradition says that she was buried within the grounds after her death in 1303. Lady Margaret Crawford was the mother of the truest of Scottish patriots, Sir William Wallace. A thorn tree and plaque in the graveyard marks the spot where her grave is supposed to be located. In the winter of 1303, King Edward I of England held court in the Abbey, and on his departure early in 1304, he had the Abbey and adjoining buildings burned. King Robert the Bruce paid for the Abbey to be rebuilt. After King Robert's death at Cardross on the 7th of June 1329, he was laid to rest in a tomb near the high altar at Dunfermline Abbey. His heart was intended for the Holy Land, but was brought back to Scotland after Sir James Douglas, who was tasked with taking it to the Holy Land, died whilst fighting the Moors in Spain. King Robert's heart was buried in Melrose Abbey in the Scottish borders. By 1559, the Abbey suffered its first Protestant cleansing during the Scottish Reformation and was eventually sacked in the March of 1560. By 1563, the Abbey was already in a sorry state of repair and over the following centuries slowly began to collapse. All that remains is the nave, which was used as a parish church until the 19th century, and now serves as a vestibule of a new church which opened in 1821 and occupies the site of the ancient chancel and transepts. Dunfermline Abbey is one of Scotland's most important cultural sites and received more of Scotland's royal dead than any other place within the kingdom.
For more historical tours, check out my channel.